Port Charles continues to breathe, bleed, and battle through the chill of December as characters confront secrets, face reckonings, and attempt reconciliation. On Wednesday, December 17, 2025, the stakes skyrocket, relationships are tested, truths emerge, and the spirit of the holiday season feels both far away and dangerously close. Here's what's coming in the world of General Hospital, spoiler style. The camera pans over Port Charles, frosted streets, glowing hospital lights, and Christmas decorations that seem almost ironically cheerful given the tension building among its residents. Inside General Hospital, the pace is frenetic. Doctors rush hallways, patients shuffle in and out, eyes meet with concern. And somewhere, someone is holding their breath. Cut to the intensive care waiting room where Carly Spencer sits beside Nina Reeves. Their interaction sets the tone for much of this episode, frostier than a winter wind off the docks. Carly's eyes narrow as Nina approaches, dressed businesslike but with emotion beneath her poised facade. Words are exchanged, curt, clipped, and weighted with history and unresolved conflict. This run-in is not simple civility. It's a collision of two powerful women who share overlapping pasts, complicated wounds, and very different priorities. Soap Central. Carly's voice is steady but edged with steel. You have a lot of nerve, Nina. Nina, with that familiar Reeves poise, replies just as coolly. I just showed up. I didn't ask for your forgiveness. This opening sets the tone for Wednesday's emotional center, difficult conversations that shouldn't happen but must. Elsewhere, Lulu Spencer is seen in a space that manages to be both intimate and volatile, the privacy of her own thoughts crashing up against the reality of her relationships. Lulu has been simmering, tensions mounting between her and those she cares about. By this episode she reaches a boiling point. Lulu is not merely angry, she's unleashed. She confronts someone close, perhaps a confidant, perhaps someone who has betrayed her trust, and what was once a tense discussion explodes into a raw, emotional outburst. Words like "you were supposed to protect me," and "I trusted you," are hurled with the kind of emotional force that reverberates for days. Her anger isn't random. It's born from a combination of hurt, suspicion, and a deep fear that no one around her is truly telling the whole truth. This is, in many ways, a catharsis, but catharsis that makes enemies and fractures already fragile bonds. Soap Central. Meanwhile, across town, a quiet but potent storyline unfolds between Isaiah Zane and Portia Robinson. Portia, balancing fear and hope after her recent pregnancy news, finds herself face-to-face with Isaiah's serious yet gentle proposition, one that could reshape her future. Isaiah's offer is not a simple business deal or a benign suggestion. It's a promise of protection and support at a moment when Portia's world feels unmoored. He acknowledges the difficulty and danger of her current situation, the overlapping investigations, the medical uncertainties, and the emotional turmoil, and he offers real partnership. Soap Central. But Portia isn't a woman to accept help lightly. She's cautious, because accepting Isaiah means admitting vulnerability, and maybe opening her heart again. Their interaction is tender, tense, and palpably uncertain. Isaiah, you're stronger than you think, but you don't have to be alone in this. Portia, I don't know if I'm ready, but maybe I want to be. This dynamic, hope versus fear, is one of the emotional pillars of this episode. Meanwhile, Michael Corinthos finds himself in an increasingly precarious position. He stands at the intersection of tension and defense, literally. After yesterday's bombshell developments, Michael had a testy encounter with Drew and Willow. He is forced to respond to accusations and social scrutiny in ways that sharpen his instincts and test his alliances. Soap Central. Michael has never been a stranger to conflict, but this week something feels different. It's personal on multiple fronts. His relationship with Jacinda, already controversial, strains under the judgment of friends and family. His ongoing feud with Nina over custody and loyalty continues to escalate. And the rowing currents of suspicion around Willow, Drew, and the shooting case leave him perpetually on guard. In this episode, Michael must defend himself, not just legally or publicly, but internally. He's forced to reckon with how much he's willing to risk for what he believes is right, and for who he loves. It's a pivotal emotional journey that fans have been anticipating. Britt Westbourne, sharp, brilliant, and often guarded, experiences a moment of profound frustration. She's used to being in control, but lately the narrative around her, especially tangled with Jason and their unresolved chemistry, has left her unsettled rather than unbeatable. In this episode, Britt tries to stake her claim to responsibility, love, or agency, and nearly loses her footing. Her disappointment is palpable, in herself, in the situation, and in what might have been.
Soap Central.
It's a powerful character beat that reveals a more vulnerable side to a woman who usually hides emotions behind intelligence and sass. While spoilers don't specifically list every character beat, we know certain arcs have momentum going into this mid-December episode. Characters like Jocelyn, Chase, Brooklyn, and Dante all have threads that intersect with our central scenes. Jocelyn might be trying to keep the peace while also navigating conflicting loyalties. Chase may be balancing law enforcement duties and personal grievances. Brooklyn could be handling business pressures at deception and possibly rising suspicion that something is off. Dante, already under emotional strain from Rocco's ultimatum and personal entanglements, is likely to bring a heavy yet thoughtful presence to the hospital or precinct settings. All of these characters elevate the emotional texture of this episode, weaving slices of life that feel personal, immediate, and layered. While each character's storyline carries distinct beats, several themes pulse through December 17's episode. The frosty encounter between Carly and Nina encapsulates the day's emotional climate, conversations that seem polite on the surface but are force fields of suppressed history, unspoken accusation, and emotional baggage.
Soap Central.
Portia and Isaiah's interaction encapsulates the season's larger question: when do we let others in, and what happens when we do? Michael's ongoing battles highlight a profound struggle, preserving integrity when the world casts doubt, and safeguarding love when circumstance conspires against it. Lulu's emotional eruption captures one of GH's most compelling human truths: the strongest among us sometimes break loud before we heal quiet. Even with all the tension, the holiday season looms, sometimes as comfort, sometimes as a hollow reminder of what's fractured. In moments of the episode, viewers will see sets subtly adorned with festive decor, a wreath here, ribbon there, underscoring the emotional dissonance of joy and adversity coexisting in Port Charles. In episodes like this, General Hospital reminds us that holidays on a soap are never just decoration, they are emotional amplifiers. Family, forgiveness, and fear all glitter in sharp contrast against that seasonal backdrop, forcing characters to confront what matters most before the year turns. This episode is part of a week-long arc where every day has a strong narrative beat. Rising tension on Monday leads into confrontation on Tuesday, and by Wednesday the emotional pressure cooker begins to release steam, not in a single climactic beat, but in seismic shifts that set the stage for Thursday and Friday reckoning.
Soap Central.
Here are additional scene possibilities that fit the emotional and narrative arcs heading into Wednesday's show. Small Blue Diamond Jason Morgan could make an off-screen return to stabilize one crisis or inject a new conflict. Small Blue Diamond Brooklyn may find out a secret that throws her deception leadership into turmoil. Small Blue Diamond Chase could make a decisive law enforcement move with consequences that reverberate into Thursday. Small Blue Diamond Valentin or Anna might take a step toward resolving their own tension or family danger. Small Blue Diamond Nina and Michael may have a private confrontation later in the day, continuing the emotional tension established early. The closing scene of Wednesday, December 17th, sees Portia alone with her thoughts, gazing out at a snowy street, Isaiah's words echoing in her mind. Across town, Lulu sits in silence, exhausted from her emotional outburst, the aftershocks settling into bitter reflection. Michael stands in a hallway, conflicted, balancing defense against accusation, love against loyalty. Carly and Nina, now outside the hospital, exchange one last look, not peace, but mutual recognition that their story is far from over. The camera cuts to black with the hum of Port Charles's winter night outside, a vivid reminder that in General Hospital, no moment is final. It's just another twist in an ongoing romance, rivalry, healing, and heartbreak that keeps fans tuning in day after day.